I've been on a panel where we're talking about minding the men gap and how do we win men back. All this bread going into organizing these efforts. And then Zohran Mamdani increased voter registrations for the Democrats. He increased younger voters. He increased immigrant voters. He overperformed his expectation in white, wealthy areas with white men in Staten Island.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Seems like he's an overall 99.
And and he also got, I didn't put the screenshot of it, he also got more votes in the first round of the primary election than Eric Adams got in the general election for mayor of New York in 2021. Let's begin with birthright citizenship. This whole thing, like you said, remember when we were telling our comments about how as black people, there is not a time in this country. I'm sorry. It's the sad reality, bro. It really is a sad reality. We don't get to rest.
Nope.
We have never
No matter how many times you want to kick your feet up and be, we worked so hard, they're not working with us.
And the reason why
Still gotta work.
the reason why I feel like me and us and a lot of people in the comment section weren't seeing eye to eye is because I personally give a fuck about my fellow human being, especially when they're a member of a marginalized group, and I don't want to see their rights get violated. But even if that's a bridge too far to apply to every scenario for some of you, because of all types of shit, because the problem with the groups and the anti-blackness that are in so many spaces, if that's a bridge too far for you, from a purely pro-black perspective, we also offered the argument that the reason why you should be standing up and saying something about it at least is because they can, they will, and they have been coming for us anyway. Now we're seeing them threatening legal temporary protective status for Haitian migrants, which are by and large black.
Yeah.
I don't know how the fuck Donald Trump or Stephen Miller, mind you, is going to look at me and know I'm not Haitian.
I was going to say, how they going to know if we're not Haitian? We could all be Haitian right now.
But I seen a lot of apathy because it seems like there's a lot of niggas who still are not adjusted to the moment that we're in right now.
Nope.
And there are a lot of people who are like, let's be real, if you here legally, then XYZ, blah, blah. So the other day, everyone forgot about it, Trump signed an executive order that basically was antithetical to the 14th Amendment, basically just changing it. It was, if you're born on U.S. soil and you're subject to the jurisdiction of the United States, being born on U.S. soil, then you are a citizen. It doesn't matter if your parents were a citizen at the time that you were born. It doesn't matter XYZ, because I don't know how you would even, go about determining some shit like that. And the whole mentality behind passing the 14th Amendment was because they probably would have did some shit like that after the Civil War, but they needed a way to retroactively make every person who was a slave or was born here or just brought here just a citizen. And us being this is not abnormal. A lot of countries on the Western Hemisphere have birthright citizenship. So then Trump signed an executive order and was like, nah, if your parents was undocumented or XYZ, then you're not an American citizen.
Mind you.
You can't fucking do that.
Trump's
wife.
Trump done slid his meat. in a woman that is literally not from here. Meaning his children.
I don't think Trump's parents are from here.
His children would be sent to
where's
Trump's
parents from?
I'm pretty sure they immigrated, but let me fact check.
Yeah, we can fact check it. What are we waiting on? This is the thing, right? I remember hearing the whole point about the whole black people resting, and I understand it, right, from a mental standpoint of being like, okay, there's a lot of mental shit that as humans, right, we go through. You need your rest, you need time to recuperate, etc. But this whole not giving a fuck about the shit because it's not our fight, it's not our y'all are going to turn around and be at Alligator Alcatraz or whatever the fuck it is. That's what you gonna blink your fucking eyes, wake up and finally be well rested. And be in a fucking cage. Bullshit.
The thing is, and
see the lacrosse fucking logo by your leg and shit.
Bullshit.
And the thing is, and I love our people, and I want people to get rest when they can. Lord knows I'm fucking exhausted.
Yeah, we're exhausted.
But the issue is we're not afforded that comfortability because. And let's dive into the details of the case. So I believe that his dad was born here, and I don't know about his mom. His mom has a lot of like not that much information out there for some reason, but I think they might still be.
Freaky.
Regardless, you then like the First Lady of the United States.
Yeah, Barron shouldn't be here.
Cool.
None of them niggas should be here, nigga.
So the Supreme Court,
Vice President
basically they issued a decision that is kind of preventing lower courts from like having a check on the presidency again, as they continue to do. So basically what ended up happening was the Trump administration asserted in that executive order that children of non-citizens are not subject to the jurisdiction of the United States, a phrase used in the 14th Amendment, and therefore not entitled to citizenship. Well, first, according to that executive order, what do you mean that children of non-citizens are not subject to the jurisdiction of the United States? They could be arrested by the United States, though.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
They are subject to the jurisdiction. Anyone on U.S. soil via the 14th Amendment is subject to the jurisdiction thereof. That's word for word. So he wrote this, and everyone's like, okay, this is blatantly unconstitutional. Cool. So we're like waiting for the judges to pan out. So states, immigrants' rights groups have sued to block that executive order and accused the administration of trying to unsettle the broader understanding of birthright citizenship that has been accepted since the amendment's adoption. This is an article from, I believe, ABC7 and The Guardian. I went and researched some stuff about the decision because I'm like trying to inform myself on what went wrong here. Mm-hmm. And the judges, after they got sued, have uniformly ruled against it because it's literally the opposite of what's written in the 14th Amendment.
Yeah.
Of course. And what the Trump administration pretty much wanted is that they wanted the judges to allow Trump's executive order to go into plan for everyone else besides the group that sued.
What?
So they took this to court. And the fucking Supreme Court ruled on Friday that they basically ruled in his favor. Basically, that federal courts cannot like do a nationwide injunction to stop the president from doing something to everybody because the courts don't have that jurisdiction for some fucking reason. Now, while I'm looking into it, and I'm like, okay, how does our legal system work? So courts are able to grant relief, right? And that relief can be money or it can be like an injunction, which is basically like, all right, it can be more things, but one of those things, it can be money or it can be like an injunction where it's like the court tells someone to stop doing something or to start doing something. And there was historical precedent for courts being able to do a nationwide injunction because if someone is trying to do a thing and the only remedy to it is to, hey, you can't do this to everybody, then that would be the thing.
That's the only
that's the only thing that keeps the executive on like following the law.
Yeah.
Because
checks and balances.
Who else is gonna make sure?
Yeah, what the fuck are we talking about?
So it says Friday's decision, they didn't decide whether or not the actual thing he said about the 14th Amendment is constitutional or not. Friday's decision.
How did they?
They just ignored that. They just ignored that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Friday's decision centered on President Trump's executive order stating that children of people who enter the U.S. illegally or on a temporary visa are not entitled to automatic citizenship. But instead on ruling whether the president's actions on birthright citizenship violated the 14th Amendment or the Nationality Act, the Supreme Court's ruling focused on whether the federal courts have the power to issue nationwide blocks. They know that like that what he said in his executive order is unconstitutional. Mm-hmm. And instead of focusing on, hey, even if the court doesn't have the jurisdiction to completely block every single thing right now, this is a blatantly unconstitutional measure, one that would affect everybody in the country. So yeah, let's hold this back until we determine its legality. The Supreme Court ruled 6-3 that it can actually work the other way, that despite something knowingly being unconstitutional, the president can enforce that on everyone except for the parties to the lawsuit that like specifically impacts. So if he decides that he wants to change how we do birthright citizenship, if you're in a Republican state that's not going to file a class action lawsuit on behalf of like migrants living there, or you just don't happen to be covered by any sort of lawsuit, they could theoretically, after I believe 30 days, start like revoking citizenship from people. and deporting them, because now you need to be party to a class action lawsuit, which is much harder to get together and much harder to stop from falling apart in order to block the administration from doing something to you that they already know is unconstitutional. This would be like if Trump wanted to do slavery tomorrow, and then we're like, hey, you can't do slavery, it's in the 13th Amendment. And then the court is like, yeah, well, we're not going to touch that. But you can't stop him nationwide from doing slavery everywhere because we got to keep it to only the people.
You got to make a lawsuit, and then you got to go through the provisions to stop him.
Which means that they could run up in Texas and do slavery, and then it would happen until the class action lawsuit in Texas gets solved after years of deliberation.
Fuck out of here, bro.
We've now flipped.
We're here.
This court has flipped everything on its head and has now determined that despite an order maybe, very likely, definitely being unconstitutional, it can be enforced because the courts can't stop him from enforcing it unless you specifically sued to make sure. Like,
and only God knows how long that fucking lawsuit's gonna take.
Bro.
And we're capping the judges at 800.
That's anybody.
Are you guys going to get up? Hold on. Are you guys gonna get up now? Are you done resting, please? Please?
Is it time
because now?
I'm waiting on it.
Because now, we have just now set a precedent where the president can do a thing, and these things can be enforced and carried out nationally up until the Supreme Court eventually, mind you, they just went out of session until October, until the Supreme Court eventually.
All niggas got to do is do some shit in July, and we're fucked. We don't open until October, guys. Done.
AJ, go pick that cotton. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? We're here.
Yeah.
We're here.
Yeah, we're here.
You got to think about everybody on this couch
bro.
right now is what is the term for like is it an anchor baby? Where you're like,
no.
where you're like,
that's the concept that like people come in illegally and then have a kid here and become
yeah. No. What's the term for when you're actually just like, basically what I'm saying is your mom's Jamaican, my mom's Jamaican, your mom's Jamaican. Fuck are we talking about?
Yeah.
Everybody on this couch right now.
So
mind you though, that's not just black people. That's also white people. There's white people that are like.
So let's see now. So let's say your parent is an immigrant, which ours are. And we've just decided that you being born here is not enough to determine whether or not you're a citizen. It's dependent on your parents' citizenship status at the time of your birth. So now, what you're saying, in order to effectively enforce this policy, we need to now retroactively research pretty much everyone in this goddamn country and figure out what your parents' status was at the time of birth. And if it was not in the legal definition based on what this administration deems, we need to denaturalize.
And nobody's asking how you gonna pay for that. How you gonna pay for the research for that one? Nobody's asking that.
Nobody's asking that question. Nope. Guys, we have all
niggas ask the question when a nigga will be like, yeah, I want groceries to not be fucking expensive as
free
shit.
Buses.
Or I want free buses. Niggas ask the question. Even niggas on the left ask the question, well, how are we going to pay for that? Nobody's asking how we're going to pay to denaturalize like damn near half the fucking country. Fuck are we talking about?
Yes, because my issue is, I was going to say another thing. My issue is, this is also kind of like, say we were playing like a game of Monopoly. Like, I don't know how to convey it to you otherwise. Imagine we're playing a game of Monopoly and like the rule is you got to roll the dice before you fucking do the thing. And I just all of a sudden said, you know what? I'm going to melt them bitches down, turn it into a sword and start stabbing niggas.
It's your turn, Matt.
And then someone's like, oh yeah, you can't stab people. And then the Supreme Court comes
and said, what?
Like, well, actually, you can't stab Matt.
But
you could stab baby.
Wait, you can't turn the dice into a sword and stop stabbing. That's illegal. You can't just do that.
But
actually, Matt is actually a party to what's going on, so you can't stab. But I'm not going to talk about
Matt knows that you're going to stab him. That's cool. Matt
as long as Matt sues you.
Take it up with HR while Matt's getting fucking stabbed.
We're not going to stab. We actually can't stop you from stabbing everybody. But if Matt sues you after you stab him and then you win, you can't stab the nigga. Okay, then I'm going to stab baby then. Wait, please.
We got, all right.
This is
basically what I'm getting at is, so we need a new place to shoot the jam. I'm thinking Canada. I'm thinking another fucking country.
We're about to be in a country that we're not from because the Supreme Court on the shadow docket. They do this shadow docket where basically they just do a bunch of like, all right, this is our decision on it. Not really much rationale behind it, and then they go out for the season, for their summer. And they also realize
they just doomed all of America.
They also ruled that it's also perfectly fine to just send people to countries that they're not from. So I hope you enjoy Myanmar.
Hey, shout out to
given all of that.
Before you go, I see the video. It was I guess it was some ICE raids in like a Haitian area or Haitian populated area, and they was beating the shit out of them ICE niggas. So shout out to the Haitians.
As written. Another thing for the point of like us standing up. Yeah. Also, like black migrants are much more likely to be deported and detained and mistreated.
Just like
a whole lot of discrimination going on.
Yeah,
systemic racism.
Like, did we discrimination?
Oh, y'all make me mad. I feel like
it's like we forgot where the fuck.
I feel like it's a dissociation.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is.
There's so much
trauma,
and the thing that we're all supposed to remember it is that they don't fucking like us. You want to know what ended up happening,
bro? We have the apps. We have the boost in like entrepreneurship within our communities. All of these things, and it gives you that false sense of like where we are in the grand scheme of how we're viewed by the world, how we're viewed by white people. How
the Supreme Court of this in this country just decided that courts are now hamstrung when it comes to preventing an illegal thing from happening nationwide. Nobody is safe. If you're not listening to anyone else, the liberal Supreme Court justices on the court echoed the same sentiment, and these are niggas who live, breathe, and sleep the law every single day. I think that we should be concerned. I'm even looking at like the rhetoric that's being used, because what ended up happening, and we'll get into what this has to do with shit. We're sitting here bullshitting. We're going to get back into the conversation of double agents because I've been seeing it and it's going to make me crash the fuck out. This administration has gotten that ruling. They've also been deporting people willy-nilly, all type of shit. And they've been really brazen with their rhetoric that they've been just saying. Zohran won that election.
Shout out my nigga.
Zohran didn't just win that election. He won that shit with a mandate. He blew this nigga out. They officially finished counting yesterday, and they dropped the results July 1st. Remember, he was supposed to be like 32 to 35 or some shit percent in the first round, and then after 8 rounds or 7 rounds of ranked choice voting and disqualifying the candidate,
like the NFL, the NBA finals or something.
Mamdani was supposed to pass him on the last ballot and all types of shit. This nigga got 46% in the first round, and Cuomo conceded, and then they counted everything. He won with 56% of the vote.
Oh, that's my goodness.
The Cuomo's 44. Blew this nigga out by 12.
That's crazy. That's why
blew this nigga out by 12.
Shit.
That the ballots 1,026,783 total votes were cast in the Democratic primary, and that's the most in a mayoral primary since 1989.
Weren't we like one of the highest demographics of voters as well?
Can we pull up the first element? They're all listed 1 to 10. So yeah, the first one. This is registration numbers. So this is compared to the 2021 mayoral primary where Eric Adams won. You see that yellow line?
Yeah, I see the yellow line.
And this was 2020.
That's
the amount of people who registered to
vote. We're gonna coin this term as the fuck no bar.
Yep.
That's the fuck no bar right there.
That right there. If you see that happen in your local election, fuck no, you're done for it.
Yeah, you're done. Jesus.
So he won that. And then if we go to the next element, we see the age distribution of voters.
Yeah, this is what I saw. Yeah.
So in 2021, the one below, this is where Eric Adams won. We see 18 to 25 to 30 to 35. We see all the age demographics and how low the turnout was. And
the highest one was 60.
Highest is 60, that's the Democrats' playbook, which is why they're so fucking inept for this moment, is that they just keep banking on them 60-year-olds, 70-year-olds coming out and voting.
Mario's going to be gone in a couple years, bro.
On average, more than any other demographic.
Yeah.
This was this.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That was Zohran.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Zohran.
Go back to the chart. That was Zohran. So
That shit's going past the damn letters.
18, 24, what is that, 25,
18
29?
to 25 to 30,
I can see it. I
35,
don't know
all
how
of
to
them turbocharged their turnout for this election because they were excited to come out and vote for somebody.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's our block politically.
Yes.
And we're slowly becoming more and more of like, you can't ignore this shit anymore.
Nope, you can't ignore it.
Forever, the Democrats have been trying to figure out how we get young men back. Have been trying to figure out what went wrong in 2024, have been trying to figure out how we get this messaging strategy to invigorate people, to get people excited to come out and vote for us. They've been throwing money at it. They put niggas on panels. I've been on a panel where we're talking about minding the men gap and how do we win men back. All this bread going into organizing these efforts. And then Zohran Mamdani increased voter registrations for the Democrats. He increased younger voters. He increased immigrant voters. He overperformed his expectations in white, wealthy areas with white men in Staten Island.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Seems like he's an overall 99.
And and he also got, I didn't put the screenshot of it, he also got more votes in the first round of the primary election than Eric Adams got in the general election for mayor of New York in 2021.
Damn.
I think if you go to Eric Adams had like 280K. Mamdani had
didn't even vote.
400 in the first round, 545,000 overall. Eric Adams got 700K votes in the general election in 2021, and Mamdani got 500K in the primary election.
I gotta say, if
I'm sorry, yeah, go ahead.
If Eric Adams and Andrew Cuomo think that their diabolical team up in the last minute is gonna do some shit,
Team of bullshit. Cool.
done. You're done,
What are
nigga.
you talking about?
You're done.
But my point being, we've spent all this money trying to figure out where the fuck the Democrats go from here. And this nigga delivered on every single key marker that we're looking for. And you know what this nigga's gotten. In the same way that, birthright citizenship, is it a debate? No, it's just racism. Let's get the voters. No, it's just racism. This nigga got rewarded with these people allying with the Nazis, with the fascists, with the racists.
That shit, bro.
Let's talk about it.
That pisses me off so much.
Let's talk about
it.
Let's talk about it. Let's begin first with Andy Ogles. This bitch ass nigga, this racist ass bitch ass nigga, tweeted the other day a bunch of things about Zohran, starting with calling him Little Muhammad, saying, "Listen, Zohran Little Muhammad Mamdani dropped this rap just a year before becoming a U.S. citizen. He says in it he loves 5 men who were convicted of funneling $12 million to Hamas terrorists through the Holy Land Foundation. He also raps, 'Build the wall, we'll make it fall.' The public embrace of convicted Hamas conspirators before naturalization raises questions. Did Mamdani disclose these views during his naturalization interview? Did he lie on his N-400 citizenship application? If someone lies during the naturalization process, especially about support for terrorists, they should be denaturalized and deported." Let's go to the next thing that he also tweeted. Zohran Little Muhammad again, Mamdani, is an anti-Semitic socialist communist who will destroy 2 different things, mind you.
2 different, completely just
Destroy
saying
the
shit.
great city of New York. He needs to be
buzzwords.
deported, which is why I'm calling for him to be subject to denaturalization proceedings. So we have Andy Ogles is a representative from Tennessee. I believe he represents the greater Nashville area. First of all, yo bitch ass.
Kindly go fuck
First of all,
yourself.
yo bitch ass has a XAI fucking
No,
farm.
unkindly. Go fuck
Did y'all
yourself.
hear about XAI?
Yeah.
What is XAI?
Elon Musk.
It's the big ass thing.
That's like the
supercomputer
AI
farm,
generators.
yeah,
that
bullshit.
Yeah, with all,
they
takes
touched
all the water.
they
and
touched
shit.
it down in Nashville, Tennessee, I'm pretty sure, and it's been fucking with the air quality and damn near killing black residents. They said they imported
communities.
they imported 35 fucking generators or some shit, and then they were like only 15 of them are on, and then they got satellite image with heat map showing that 30 of them bitches were on illegally, no permit, mind you.
Bullshit.
What the
Just
fuck?
cause. That's happening in your state,
Yeah,
Andy
right.
Ogles. Bitch ass niggas. First, second of all, casual Islamophobia. Casual
Yeah,
racism.
just casual.
Chill.
Just casual.
Little Muhammad.
I don't expect anything more from these 2-bit fucking. Can we go to the next one? Because I'm sitting here watching him. I'm not even gonna read the shit that he said. I just want you to look at the fact that this nigga Benny Johnson looks exactly like this nigga Andy Ogles. I'm watching a splitting copy of this nigga. It's like what Andy Ogles wishes he saw when he woke up in the morning when he looked in the mirror. This is like you 5 years ago before like the soul left. Like I don't know. Like
This is crazy.
This tweet was basically him saying that like he said he was joining a communist group before he became a citizen. Mind you, believing a political ideology is grounds for deportation. Also, we're being suppressed. We can't have our opinion.
Little Muhammad, you're a representative.
Saying Little Muhammad.
So I'm mad in the sense that like,
Yo,
I think nothing of these two people on this screen. But I also seen something else. I seen Trump, the president of the United States, also come out and call for Zohran Mamdani's deportation and say that people are saying he's here illegally. He had a conference where he said it the other day. If we can play that clip next. Oh, Ron DeSantis is there too.
And a lot of people are saying he's here illegally. He's, we're going to look at everything, and ideally, he's going to turn out to be much less than a communist. But right now, he's a communist. That's not a socialist.
They don't even know what communism.
They don't know what
they don't know what that is, bro.
But
they're just saying buzzwords to tick off they.
Because people hear communists and they immediately think Russia, and then they get scared and they think spies and they think they have no idea what the fuck they're talking about.
And that's the reason why I hate like this so disrespectful and contemptuous, because their whole game is just acting like the American public is completely.
This is not 1942 where niggas don't got cell phones to look up shit.
But let's go back. So Zohran wins definitively. Brings in a broad coalition of people that the Democrats can't get right now.
Mm-hmm.
The Republicans lose their shit, do the racism, the shit that we expect them to do. So I'm like, oh, these niggas calling him Lil Muhammad. These niggas saying that the rightful winner of the Democratic primary for the mayorship of New York, they're saying that we need to deport him on nothing, on no evidence. Mind you, he's been a citizen since like 2007 or some shit. He's been in the country since he was a little kid. Cool. I'm looking at how the Democrats are going to respond to it.
And you'd think they'd
think that they'd defend. No, you think that they'd ferociously defend this new up-and-comer who just unlocked so much hope for regardless of what the fuck you think about the nigga.
Yeah, that's what I would.
You're in the business of winning elections.
And he can win elections.
The Democratic Party,
play into the whole, they're being racist. We don't play into the whole, that other side's being racist. Then you at least retain the people. What are they doing, JJ?
They're helping the Nazis lie.
Okay. So we've officially like gone off the deep end now.
To the other side.
Let's begin. Let's begin. So
you can't blow out Andrew Cuomo by 12 points and not think that the shit.
They still haven't endorsed him.
They haven't endorsed him, bro.
Chuck Schumer.
Oh my.
We don't have it. We don't
fucking book tour,
we don't have an endorsement. Hakeem Jeffries. We don't have an endorsement. I don't know. I haven't talked to him for real yet.
These niggas are bullshitting.
It's bread, bro.
These niggas are bullshitting.
Let's begin. So Zohran went on an interview like the other day, and this question that he got asked has made like all of the Democratic establishment, the Cuomo types, the people who are so convinced that like this is so bad of a strategy going with someone who actually represents the people. He got asked this question, and I want you to just listen to the answer, because what follows after it is the most nut shit.
Like, does that just make you uncomfortable? Like the phrase "globalized intifada" from the river to the sea. Does that make you uncomfortable, or do you think?
Okay, those are different. Those are super. Different.
They're not
those are
really
like different genres.
I'm sorry. I'm asking Zohran. Then they're not really different to me, and to some people, they're not different.
You know, I know people for whom those things mean very different things. And to me, ultimately, what I hear in so many is a desperate desire for equality and equal rights in standing up for Palestinian human rights. And I think what's difficult also is that the very word has been used by the Holocaust Museum when translating the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising into Arabic, because it's a word that means struggle.
Sure.
And as a Muslim man who grew up post 9/11, I'm all too familiar in the way in which Arabic words can be twisted, can be distorted, can be used to justify any kind of meaning.
Yep.
And I think that's where it leaves me with a sense that what we need to do is focus on keeping Jewish New Yorkers safe. And the question of the permissibility of language is something that I haven't I haven't.
He finishes off by saying that I haven't dived into. Basically, what happened is, so he's obviously like pro-Palestinian rights. So they keep doing this thing where they ask him about the statement, globalize the Intifada, right? And that statement is a statement that has a lot of historical like weight to it, right? So that's why I fuck with his answer here, because basically to some Jewish people, globalize the Intifada sounds like you're calling for violence against Jewish people. To some Palestinian people and to some Muslim people, they feel like globalize the Intifada is continuing the resistance against just colonialism in general, because of all the shit that like Israel's done in Gaza and everything. So the correct answer, if you ask me as a politician, is what he said there, where they're trying to say like, well, some people, they're trying to throw this thing on him where like some people think it's calling for violence. And he's like, well, I know a lot of people who don't think it's that way. That actually is the case. There are a lot of people who ferociously argue about that. So he's like, as mayor, I don't want to police anyone's language because they want him to condemn pro-Palestinian activists who are chanting that. And at the end of the day, whether or not he,
you're trying to back him into this corner, and back him into this corner of choosing a side, or just blatantly like trying to disrespect the other side.
Which is why he answered, I'm not gonna condemn people that are fighting on my side for people who look like me as well, for whatever they interpret that phrase to mean. And I'm also not going to use the phrase in a way that is harmful or threatening to Jewish people.
And that's
I'm not going to tone police. I'm going to focus on increasing anti-hate crime prevention for like anti-Semitism. I think he said about like 800% or something, increasing funding for that.
That's what you do.
That's
because that's actual
That's why.
That's why talking, getting a clip and then posting it.
That's why Brad Lander, who's the top-ranked Jewish official in New York City, happily endorsed him, cross-endorsed him. That's why Bernie Sanders, who is also Jewish, happily endorsed Zohran. Because at the end of the day, if he was actually saying something, insinuating something, or hinting something in his actions and his policy proposals or in his attitudes that would say that he would throw Jewish people under the bus, he doesn't like Jewish people, then we'd all be able to see that from a mile away, because the left are the ones who really are not anti-Semitic. We are the main one.
We're getting trapped in. It's like them niggas are getting trapped in their own like loop, and it's like, wait, guys.
They're trying to outflank the left by being more woke and standing up for minorities. And what you're doing is you're insinuating that a brown person who's a Muslim can't do shit without being anti-Semitic, which means you've gone full circle up your own ass and you actually are racist.
Yeah, like
that's what you've done. You've removed agency from a whole demographic of people by assuming that like criticizing their government means criticizing them. So you've removed that agency, which is racist, because Jewish people have different perspectives too. And you've also constantly been berating a brown person about whether or not something he clearly doesn't want to do.
Exactly.
And it's not his position, is his position. So he said that, right? I'm going to get, because we have a bunch of policies to do. He did not one time in there say, I support globalize the Intifada. I mean this phrase with any sort of harm. He didn't say any of the story. He didn't even say that. So let's see what Eric Swalwell, who's a Democratic representative, went on national TV and said.
Stylistically, and I'm not a socialist, and I don't associate myself with what he has said about the Jewish people.
What did he say about
the Jewish people?
Let's go to the next clip. What did he say about the Jewish people? Who's next? Oh, Kirsten Gillibrand, who she ran for president in 2020, I'm pretty sure, dropped out very early, but she came out. She's also a New York Democrat, big New York Democrat. We're waiting on all these endorsements. She came out and said this on News Nation, by the way.
News Nation, mind you. Double fucking agents.
News
Double
Nation.
fucking agents.
We're on News Nation.
We're getting a little bit closer to the end.
Yeah, let's see. And she eventually apologized for this and the appearance that she made on a radio show where she like double, triple, quadrupled down on her allegations. But let's see what she says in this.
New York City is the home to the largest Jewish population outside of Israel. How can someone who traffics in that kind of speech represent that constituency effectively? His comments are really disturbing. His comments about Intifada calls for violence against Jewish people. It's really inappropriate for someone like that to lead the city of New York.
Primary.
So let me.
Who the fuck? No.
We'll get to that. We'll get that was Eric Adams. We'll get to him.
No, him.
No. Oh, Kirsten Gillibrand.
Yes.
Yeah. Kirsten Gillibrand is she a senator? She's a senator from New York. Primary.
Fuck out of here, bro. What are we talking about?
Actually.
Resign.
So
resign.
Did you see the Chiron? Did you see the thing? The thing that it said in the letters on the screen. It said Donald Trump.
Yeah, Donald Trump.
100% communist lunatic. He's calling Mamdani.
Yeah.
And you're on News Nation, and as a Democrat, the only thing you can add to the conversation is, yeah, his comments are anti-Semitic. No. Y'all are double fucking agents.
Can we get her on the phone?
She apparently got on the phone with Zohran after doing a press tour, insinuating that he's a rampant anti-Semite, glorifying violence against Jewish people. And then apparently she got on the phone and apologized to him personally. Let's also take a look at...
No, your apology got to be as big as that lie, bro.
No. Fuck that apology. We run in the third.
Yeah, no. Fuck that apology.
He just went on...
You got to go back on national TV and say you're sorry, nigga.
Now, let's see Eric Adams, another Democrat, New York, was a Democrat until his corruption and his help that Trump admitted that he offered him in that same press conference where he calls for Mamdani's arrest. The help that he got dropped his case for him so he can be beholden to Donald Trump. So he ends up going on CNN. Eric Adams goes on CNN, and they ask him a question. And I'm like, okay, I'm just waiting for these Democrats to substantiate anything that Zohran has said that has been anti-Semitic. Let's watch what happens.
What specifically has Mamdani said that you think is anti-Semitic?
Pro-Hamas. Hamas is a dangerous terrorist organization that should be destroyed. When you embrace the philosophies of Hamas, not only what they do to their own people, but what they did in Gaza to lift them up and praise them, I think that's a clear indicator that something is wrong with that.
Them up and praise
when did he praise Hamas? I don't recall him ever praising Hamas.
Huh?
There's several videos, even during his days of being a rap artist.
Nigga, where?
Praising Hamas and other terrorist groups. And so
other terrorist groups.
Research, you'll be able to find it.
See,
these niggas have completely done the 180 and are now the grifters on a nigga that is pulling votes and engagement from the city. He's doing the right thing and these niggas are switching. Why? Because they have Israel's dick up their ass. That's why we're doing all of this for bread.
There's a couple questions that I got to ask. Okay, number one, y'all been following like the whole fucking journey of Mamdani.
Yeah.
What was he at when he first started this shit?
0% in the polls.
Oh no, you talking about the follower
count?
This thing was at 200K.
I seen Zohran's Instagram account when he had less followers than me. He had 167K when I started paying attention. 3 mil.
3 mil.
Jesus fuck.
Something caught on with the American people.
Something's resonating somewhere.
Another question. Right? Is this nigga running for mayor of New York or mayor of the world?
Mayor of Israel. Like,
what are we talking about right now?
Let me yank this conversation into reality for a second. Israel is a country with a government. Just like the UK is a country with a government, just like Spain is a country with a government, just like China is a country with a government. If I disagree with the brutal, over-the-top, and genocidal actions of a government, that does not mean that I hate the people. This has never been applied to anything else besides when people try to have this conversation about anti-Semitism, as if every Jewish person in this country is for what is going on. Can't think differently.
It's not even applied to one of the most racist countries in the fucking world, America.
Because if it was applied to the United States of America,
where would we be if that same thing was applied to the United States of America?
You can't criticize shit the United States of America does because the American government
ain't a white privilege and what are you talking about? Black people get the same amount of shit that other people. We get pushed back in every single regard, yet you're telling me
the conversation that these people want to have strips everybody involved in it from their humanity. Yes, there are human beings who don't think that globalizing intifada is a bad thing. There are human beings who do. So your only course of action as an elected official is to say, yeah, I'm not going to tone or like language police that, but I'm going to make sure that like we put our foot forward to protect Jewish people, let you know that that's not what I mean. That's the most open, honest, and earnest
in
answer.
Different languages and different cultures, it means
it literally translations. There's so much history there that it's actually the dumbest fucking take in the world for any one person to lay claim to the only sole correct interpretation of that phrase. It's literally in the middle of one of the most contested things that have ever happened in human history.
You know what? It's not the same, but you know what? It's kind of like. It's almost like if we policed a word that a lot of black people say. What's that one word?
Nigga.
It's almost like policing that. Like we were talking about policing in the last episode. It's almost like policing that instead of actually just like the overbearing.
It would be like if a white person, I would understand the Democratic perspective if a white person was trying to say the N-word and then pass it off as though they actually weren't racist. But the only difference is nothing means anything from the N-word besides the one thing that it means, except for when black people use it differently. There is not another interpretation you can take from a white person saying the N-word because of the specific history of this country in particular. It differs across the world.
They would
Alan
not
just texted me. Shout out my nigga Alan.
Shout out Alan. They would not like me on these fucking news stations because as soon as you pull out some bullshit like that, I'm okay. Hold on, let's pause the interview. Do you have any evidence of that right now?
No.
We need fact checkers everywhere.
Yes, please. You can't just be up here
what has
doing
been
bullshit.
taking place is in this country right now, in the middle of fascists running, taking the shit over, in the middle of the court shooting itself in the leg when it comes to the ability to stop this shit and protect people, middle of people getting rounded up, people getting deported, sitting Congress people calling people Little Muhammad. That same Andy Ogles is the same one. You know what he said about Al Green when he did impeachment?
Yeah, what he said?
He said, everyone, both parties need to take a drug test, see who can pass it. I don't think my colleagues on the left was. He needs to shut up and sit down. He's always ranting off at the mouth. That just the most open, ardent, segregationist ass talking points in current day.
Just start running up. Never mind.
And then the president, and then the president of the United States calls for deportation of someone who has been duly elected by the people of the biggest city in the country, and your only response is to be like, yeah, he is a little anti-Semitic. Aid in the resistance against the people who. Do you understand what you're doing to yourself? No. Do you understand what you're doing to yourself? Because young people have finally chosen a person.
You're shooting yourself in the foot.
And you are not defending this nigga against the fascists. You are not defending anybody against the fascists for that matter.
They think it's a game though. They think maybe you think a nigga can go from 160 in 3 weeks, a nigga can go from 160K to 3 million. If you think it's a game, sure. But when those primaries come around,
you're done.
You're fucked.
You're fucking done.
I promise. Especially because you're gonna get. You know where you're gonna get media circuited? Right fucking here. You're gonna get media circuited.
And you wanna know what's
everywhere.
It's been this way. It's been this way since Trump and them first started wilding. They remember they said, "Oh, the Congress people, Democratic Congress people, they hate us. The base hates us." Yeah. You keep furthering that. And then what do you think is going to happen in another 10 years when younger people are even more a majority? What will be 31?
Yeah.
Yep.
Everyone before us too. Who do you think we're going to choose? The people who are actively lying and smearing this nigga? And just allowing carte blanche to Islamophobia and racism? You can't simultaneously say that you're standing against anti-Semitism and you're also not standing against Islamophobia. So many of these people came out and recanted, or Chuck Schumer ended up defending him against some of the racist attacks. So did Kathy Hochul and everything. And I'm like, y'all first line of attack was like, oh no, this nigga's a communist, he's a Muslim, he's brown. And then when you realize that we don't fuck with that, obviously, or else we wouldn't have elected Zohran in the first place.
Right.
You're like, oh, my bad.
They don't have any type of messaging to pull in the younger audience. And here you are, bastardizing the one person that the young audience resonates with.
The 14th
that shit don't make no fucking sense.
The 14th Amendment.
Don't make no fucking
the 14th
sense, bro.
Amendment is currently under attack. They're threatening to come get anybody who they deem as anti-American. They were saying that he was eating with his hands. He's from the third world. He should be deported.
Yeah, Charlie Kirk said that.
4th of July. We're about to have a national eating hot dog contest in a few minutes. I'm about to watch a bunch of niggas
stuffing glizzy
down their throat. And that's civilized. Lo and behold, the nigga eat rice with his hands.
God forbid a nigga eat rice with his hands.
Charlie Kirk is out here talking about he's uncivilized. Charlie Kirk with the smile he has on him is talking about
Mr.
somebody.
Gums himself. That smile is uncivilized, my nigga.
Nigga dropped out of community college. Get the fuck on, bro. You bullshitting. You bullshitting.
So we're now sitting at this era where we've just kind of accepted every far overreaching outside of the norm thing from the right, from fascists, from racists. And one nigga has an opinion that's like, yeah, you know, I think I want to start up for all human rights.
Right?
And y'all are losing
your mind.
You're not here. You're switched.
Switched off.
Your focus has not been on what is most beneficial for the people. Not to say that there are no Democratic politicians that do anything good. There are. But I will say that the ones who do shit good, talk about police in the same way, y'all are allowing these people to fuck it up for you.
I ain't gonna lie.
I can't have as much sympathy I can't have as much sympathy in my heart for y'all, for the people in the Democratic Party who are really doing good. If y'all are sitting next to niggas who I was taught through my life experience, through learning shit and getting into politics, that racism, Islamophobia, anti-Semitism, anti-gay stuff, all that shit is bad. And the Democratic Party is representing mostly that block in the country, right? That assumes that's bad, right? So why is it that Zohran's the only nigga who's consistent?
Nuts.
Who's like, that's bad. And that's bad. That's bad.
There are a lot of good Democratic leaders. But I like you said, bro, I'm not seeing enough.
Unacceptable.
Bro. It's unacceptable.
You want to know what's becoming my bar for what a good Democratic leader is?
Mm-hmm.
Are you voting and allying and clicking up with the fascists, which a majority of them are?
It's that.
And are you endorsing Zohran?
Bro, it's the kumbaya shit.
Literally.
They sit next to these people and they say, and a lot of people, well, we're in the same party, so why fight against
No,
nigga, this is why. This is why, it's because nigga, you're backwards. All of this shit is backwards.
And now that we're not seeing a lot of these people come out and support Zohran, I don't want to see these same niggas come out and be like, why aren't people supporting the Democratic Party anymore?
They're about to do the
nigga. We are giving you the direction the Democratic Party is supposed to take.
They're about to pull a candidate and give us the meanest social media apparatus we've ever seen in our life, and that candidate is going to get 5% of the polls.
Yeah.
Because it's not. They're about to take the only message from it.
Nigga,
they're gonna throw a snapback on that nigga.
Nigga, they're going to run Kamala again with the same fucking shit. That's what they're going.
They're going. The issue is
crazy,
right.
Man.
They're about to take. The only message they're about to take from it is the fact that like social media happens. They don't take this shit seriously.
They don't.
You can keep not taking this shit seriously.
They don't take us seriously.
Yeah, you can keep not taking us seriously, but we're just going to sit back and watch as. We know where we're going. We know where people in your base want the party to go. 500,000 of them came out and voted for the Democrat, who's Zohran. So it's not like you got much choice in New York or in the Democratic Party at all. Keep fighting, bro. Keep doing it. We are actually the ones who are consistent on the principles that a lot of you pretend to care about because we're not beholden to shit making us not care about it. It's that money, bro.
That green, bro.
That's unfortunate. I seen all of them. I seen Hakeem. I seen Chuck Schumer and all them. They are all heavy. Like, we are pro-Israel. Da da da. Bro,
sucking.
I'm sorry. Forgive me for being the insane one that thinks that I am not putting any government on this planet above criticism.
Ever.
I talk shit about my government 25 years. I'm not gonna talk shit about Israel's government.
What?
You think I'm not gonna have a disagreement with a government that's carrying out a genocide? You're bullshit.
Yeah.
So. We're here 4th of July, and the defense is not for our rights, for our people, for everything. The defense is let's defend
some
this
bullshit.
Random government along with the people who are trying to kill our
that are defending it have never even fucking been.
That the people you're defending it with are actually anti-Semitic.
I still keep going back to that one clip where they was all sitting like behind the fucking panels, whatever. They said, "When you become where's the first place you're gonna go?" Everybody said Israel. This nigga Zohran said, "Be in New York."
Stay in New York.
Why? That's
be in New York, bro.
Why?
Why y'all trying to do these
we are
questions, bro?
We get taught to follow and see all these principles, and this is why the core debate at the end of the day comes back to like the founding of the country, because there are some people who are like, no, America, all these great principles, and there's some other people who are like,
I respect the office.
And there are people, Nelly, and there are some people who are like, oh, America said it was going to be founded on all these ideals, but it hasn't lived up to a lot of these promises. And right now, where they're trying to attack the 14th Amendment, you niggas are shilling for people who don't like Jewish people. if we were so aggy about anti-Semitism, then we would not be clicking up with the right wing.
No.
The ones who have Nick Fuentes. The ones who were the OG back like 2 years ago, being like Jewish people controlling the entire world.
Yeah.
Gave Ye a media circuit. Gave Ye a media circuit when he came out and started saying anti-Semitic shit. And now I'm supposed to believe.
They had him in the Oval Office. They had Ye in the Oval Office with a MAGA hat on.
And Nick Fuentes. All right, bro. You're expecting me to believe that this is an earnest coalition to defend Jewish people here.
Yeah. All right.
Yay. All right, bro. Thank you for watching this long. If you haven't already, subscribe. What are you doing? What are you doing? You think we just sitting here doing it for nothing?
You think you're gonna sit here and not
need
do
to
shit? Like,
I know you're not subscribed. Click it.
cool.